Are we finally ready after I don't
We've done
know, 36 minutes? All right, here we go. All right, so Ashton, what do you
it.
stream? And like what do you do?
Sandbox stuff. I like Minecraft.
You like Minecraft?
My two brain cells consist of Minecraft and Splatoon.
Minecraft and Splatoon. So guys, you all know Ashton, so just go and give him some love. Um all right, so I'm gonna ask you the first question. So, what type of EDS do you have? Because it's my understanding that there's 13 like
Yeah, there's a bunch of
subtypes.
different subtypes.
Okay, so which one do you have, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I have the hypermobility type, which is like a muscular skeletal kind of thing. It's it's like HEDS with like a small h, or just HMS is hypermobility syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it affects all your joints. They're hypermobile. They're fragile.
Right.
I was told by my doctor that it's like a cartilageous thing, but I'm like, I don't know if I believe you on that.
Like cartilage, like your
Yeah,
ear cartilage.
yeah, because it's in between like all of your joints and like ligaments and stuff too.
Right.
So it would make sense.
Okay. So, just curious, can you do that whole the thumb thing where you can like touch your wrist and
Yes. Are we wanting to see it?
yes? Can
I
we
can't
see?
do it with this
Don't
one, but I can do it
yeah,
with this.
don't dislocate anything. Please God, don't dislocate. That's amazing. So, all right, so my next question is when were you diagnosed?
Sorry, I heard a weird sound.
Oh, you're fine. No
I was
ghosts,
only
please.
told I had hypermobility syndrome last year,
Wow.
and I'm still in the process of actually getting it diagnosed as EDS, but like it's still HMS is the same thing. It's just whichever you want to call it.
Right.
So I have my appointment in like September, in
Oh my
like a month.
gosh, thank goodness, right? Thank
Yeah.
goodness. What were your days like before this journey to get diagnosed? Like is it um meaning like do you have any medications like cuz you didn't have those before you were diagnosed. So, like what was it like before all that? Before now?
A lot of the stuff that went on, I really thought it was just like a normal part of life, I guess. Like whenever I would get like flare-ups at night or something from in usually like in my whole legs, I thought they were just growing pains, and that's because my parents didn't know any better either, because they thought that was also normal, because I'm one of two
Right.
children. So um
So yeah, cuz
yeah,
I know
so
it
I
can be
thought like it was all just
hereditary.
normal parts of stuff. And like I'm like, yeah, no, this is everyone, this happens to everybody.
Yeah, like this is just normal and you can move your fingers back and like all that.
Yeah.
It's totally normal, right? That's awesome. That's awesome though. Like I mean it's Ankara, hello, how are you? Welcome on in, welcome on in. We are doing an awesome awareness stream for EDS right now with the wonderful, wonderful Ashton. And we are only on I think the third question. So pretty much like things seem normal and like it wasn't was it really painful or
Like figuring it out.
like physically were you in a lot of like pain? I mean, I'm sure
Oh
you
yeah,
still
I
are,
mean, yeah,
but
that it just kind of happened, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
this is normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, like, all even now, all you can really do is just like take some Tylenol or something and be like, okay, and just like rest.
Right. Yeah. um Okay, so what are some symptoms that were really big signs to you that you had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?
Did you skip a couple or just one of them?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, yes, I did. Okay, so all right. So how long did it take? So I assume that this is a syndrome, a condition that is brought on in like birth, like you have it from when you are
I
born.
th- yeah, I think so. So like the first 18 years of my life, I didn't know. Um,
And unfortunately, that's not like abnormal either, right? Like apparently, it's normal for people with Ehlers-Danlos to go a really really long time
mhm.
without their
I mean, and
diagnosis.
like hypermobility is apparently common in a lot of kids, but like it's because kids will like call it like double jointed kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then like growing up, they usually some kids grow out of it because you just when you grow up you get naturally less flexible, but it's the
Right.
difference between being flexible and actually having something.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like a really fine line. Um all right, so now I have my cursor on my questions now so I don't skip anything. What are your days like now? Like after
They're
diagnosis?
kind of the same, but like I'm comfortable knowing that like I have a disability and recognizing that it's not normal, and like I know that it's okay not to force myself to live like an able-bodied life. Like I don't
That's a
like I
really
don't have to
hard.
pretend that it's normal. I don't have to pretend that it's
Bad or
yeah.
like so because there's like this huge stipulation on people who are disabled where it's like, oh, like you want to go out and hang out tonight, and then some of those days are just like it's like a no-go, and it almost makes you feel less of a person in a way. Like I have to fix my caps. Okay, so it almost makes you feel less of like a human when it comes to that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I realized I can shrink myself down. I look like I'm towering over you. Uh, like, talk to me. um, oh my gosh, Ankara. Heck yeah, I have classical EDS, so I'm always glad to see more awareness about it. Heck yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you came in today. Um, all right, so now we're at this point. So what are some symptoms that were big signs of EDS? Like thinking back on childhood and like even like maybe high school time. What were some of the biggest things that made you think, "Oh, hey, maybe I have Ehlers-Danlos?"
So at first I didn't know anything about EDS,
Me either.
but for the hypermobility part, like the hypermobility syndrome,
Mhm.
the main part is like flexibility and like the hypermobility in the joints, and also like the pain kind of thing, like the chronic pain. Um, and actually, I didn't know EDS even existed until I actually met my one friend who has it, and then I was like, whoa, wait a second, wouldn't it be funny if mine was the same thing? And then my doctor was like, hey, you should like check this out, and I was like, oh shit, what a coincidence. So that was like,
Twinning.
yeah. And there obviously that's just like my type of EDS. With all the other types, there's probably like a lot of other stuff. I know like there's sometimes like skin symptoms like skin fragility, frag
Yeah, fragility. You're right. You're right. On the money. So like that velvety skin thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
very soft.
And would you say like you had dislocations a lot?
I wouldn't probably not like proper ones,
Okay, more like
but like
half. Like, oh,
yeah,
I
like
heard
they
that
come like
pop.
I can like pop my shoulders like in and out, and it really weirds people out.
Oh my gosh. Be careful. Like, be careful with that.
Yeah, this
13
this
subtypes right
shoulder
now.
makes a lot of noise. It sounds like a gear. This one,
Yeah.
which is good.
You know what's funny that you say that is if I can pop my kneecaps in and out, and
I can move mine, but I don't
yeah,
know.
and then
I don't know if
like
that's normal or not. That's the thing.
and my elbows too, and like other like I can't pop too many other things out, but my hips this is a really funny thing. So, like I was saying, like this is pretty close to what I'm trying to get diagnosed with this or whatever, because we don't know what's going on. But ever since I was a kid, we would be walking, and we grew up in Florida after we moved from Massachusetts, and we would go to Disney World all the time. And I mean, this doesn't matter. It was pretty much any time I was walking. So anytime I walk, if I'm walking a really long distance, all of a sudden I get this deep pain that's like inside my hip socket, and I start dragging my leg because I can't lift my leg anymore. And I realize it's probably because it's half out of the socket. Right? And yeah, so it's just kind of odd, like the way that your joints keep everything in. And that's basically Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. Your muscles are like what keep your bones and stuff in place, because your cartilage and joints are just not strong enough to keep those things in place. Yeah. So 13 subtypes right now, but they're like YOLO about it. What do you mean? What do you mean they're like YOLO? I don't know what that means. Like they keep adding more? Is that what you're saying? Like, if anyone hits me in the back, I feel like I'm being stabbed. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go to the next question. So what do you struggle with the most when it comes to this?
Definitely just like joint pain in general, because like from popping in and out, they irritate like the ligaments and everything around it. And then like my wrist, like I didn't break it or anything, but recently it's been like popping in and out, and me being stupid, I like to try and figure out how to crack them, and then I irritate all the what are they called, like the tendons and stuff.
Right.
And then you have to just like protect it so you don't touch it anymore, because you're gonna make it worse.
They keep adding subtypes and changing criteria. That's very interesting that you're talking about your wrists. Very often when I'm like getting up from something, or I can't even lean on them some days, because it feels like I almost fractured them, or sprained them really badly. It feels very much like but it's in the joint, and it's so strange, because I'm like, oh, can't lean on my arms today, because don't know what's going on with that. So that's very interesting. So what is your medical regimen for this?
I couldn't answer this one because I don't know what you meant, and I meant to ask.
Oh, okay. So a medical regimen is basically, so I wake up in the morning, this is what I do. I take this pill, I do this, all to help my EDS. So it's basically, what do you do in a day that, or in a month? Like, so like maybe you go once a month to the doctor to get something done, or you go to like a chiropractor, or you do, it's just basically what you do to help this.
That's kind of what I thought. Yeah, no, I just see my chiropractor like every 2 weeks usually. Sometimes it differs a little bit, but that's the only thing. Or sometimes if it's like a particularly bad, if it's just like a flare up that's just not caused by moving, it just suddenly starts hurting, then I'll just like take Tylenol and I'll usually be fine.
Oh, nice. Sounds like I have something like that too. My elbows can pop the wrong way. If I stretch my arms, my elbows can go outward a bit. Like, are you talking about like when you stretch your arm out, like it's almost like it, I don't know, like caves in a little bit? Because that's a sign. That's a sign. What kind of treatments have you tried throughout this whole process? Has there been multiple options, or is it really limited?
I would say it's pretty limited, because like you can't, there's not much you can do for it, but like seeing a chiropractor is my best one, because then she puts stuff back that I can't even do myself.
Right.
Like I can put almost everything back, but sometimes they're super tricky that I need someone else to do it, or just like taking like Tylenol or Advil, whatever. And then something that didn't work, before I knew what it was, I actually had to use KT tape before, and that I thought it would work, but it didn't, because I'm like, they're not like they don't need that support. They're already in pain.
Right. And what kind of tape is that? Like, what is it? What does it
It's
look
like
like?
it's like a fabric tape. It's like stretchy.
Oh,
It
okay.
kind of, I think its purpose is to like relieve tension on joints and usually muscle stuff,
Right.
which is probably why it's work because it's not like muscle really.
Right. It's a joint. Right. Okay, so I know the answer to this, and you know the answer to this, but is EDS curable?
Not that we know of, and I
There's not
wish it
enough.
was,
Yeah.
but you like it's manageable, which I guess is, and you can like watch it. The point of like getting it diagnosed and watching it is just to make sure that it can't cause anything bad.
Because it
Because
doesn't just affect like your ligaments, right? It affects like your blood vessels. It affects
yeah,
all those
it can
things.
affect like your heart and like everything.
Because if one thing's like kind of loosey goosey, other things can be as well. It's a
Yeah,
collagen. It's a collagen thing, and there's collagen in every part of your body. So it affects so much. So I found out I have a forum. You learn something new every day. There you go. KT tape is cloth tape. You see it a lot on athletes. Oh, I see. I know what that is now.
hmm
Um, okay. So on the days that are hardest for you, how do you deal and cope with it?
um, I usually just try to take it easy on myself, like rest a lot or just not really do much,
Mm-hmm.
just so I don't cause any further pain. Like I'll either push tasks until later in the day where maybe I can do them, or until the next day where hopefully it'll feel better. And usually it does if I get a lot of rest. But yeah, just take it easy.
Yeah. So
Not
maybe
do
have a cup of coffee. Maybe like get a heating pad. I don't know.
yeah.
That
I,
sounds about right. What if they are stuck? What if what are stuck? Like your like the joints, or what do you mean by that, PJ? Your ankle is pretty much stuck. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
in my
Uh
case, I would just crack it myself, but I don't recommend doing that
oh, like
because
the yeah, cracking. Like your
yeah.
knuckle, yeah.
But like, don't do it yourself. If you think something's wrong with it, you should probably see like a doctor or chiropractor, because they don't like it's chiropractors are usually are like advertised for like your spines, but they do literally everything. Like they're basically a doctor because
That's
I mean
amazing.
they are, but it's just that's their specialty is snapping you like a glow stick.
Snapping you like a glow stick. I love that.
Favorite thing.
Um all right, so on those days, do you honestly think the pain slash discomfort is worse, or the mental state that it brings you is worse? Like in comparing the two, is the pain worse or your mental state?
Um, I mean sometimes my mental state's worse, but that's like a different thing.
Right.
But but definitely the pain can be worse some days. Like some days I'll wake up in a lot more pain than others, and it'll take me like an hour or two or more to get out of bed. Um, like I could have just slept slightly wrong or something, or
Right.
exerted myself too much the day before. Um, Sometimes in the middle of the day I can just like pop a joint, and then the rest of the day it'll be like messed up,
Oof.
and that can definitely. Oh, Mia's trying to
Mia's
noisy.
Ashton's cat. We love Mia.
Um, but yeah, sometimes it's hard on your like mental health because like there's only so much you can do during. Mia, you can come up here. No, probably not. But yeah, like there's only so much you can do, so you just kind of you feel almost like useless because you can't really do much.
Right. I
What was
really
that?
feel that. Like even like I'm not diagnosed with EDS just yet. I mean that's still a process. But I do have another muscular disease that you guys all know about. And like when you go through those days when you just can't even move and do anything, your mental health is like, okay, I'm useless. I'm like, why? Like, it's just awful. So I really identify with that. My room and physical therapists hate me cracking joints. Yeah. Somebody cracked it. I was almost crying from pain. They pulled my ankle. Oh no, PJ, that's awful. Ow. Okay. Did you notice a bit of a grieving process? Like when you there's two different reactions I notice. Like when you get a diagnosis with something, it's either really happy because you've been searching for this diagnosis for such a long time, or you almost and of course like the grief comes with it as well, like eventually. But there is a grieving process sometimes, but some people don't go through it. But most of the time it's either really really happy or oh no, I've really lost something. And I just was wondering if are you like a combo like me? Like sometimes I'm like, yes, I finally got this, and then I'm like really sad sometimes because of it, or is it just one or the other for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a combo. Like like sometimes it was hard because like realizing like I had an actual disability and like I will my whole life.
Right.
Even though it like I would have been like this whether knowing it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Still like knowing that like it's actually something, but that's also a good thing because like realizing that it's not normal and like I can take comfort that and it's not supposed to be like this.
Right.
And like I can't change anything. You can only just like work with it.
Right, and make your life a little bit easier in some aspects. Getting an EDS diagnosis is a bitch and a half. Yeah, it's a long process. There's so many like they have to test your skin elasticity. They have to do all these things. So, Unkyra, if you would love to, I hope I'm saying your name right. By the way, if you would like to, we would love to. Like, if you typed up in the chat your story a little bit, I would love to hear it. But anyway, so then the next question is, how prevalent is EDS? Is it pretty common or is it pretty rare? Or do you think that they're finding it more common than what they actually thought it was?
To my knowledge, it's not. I don't think it's very common, but like in my group of people I know like possibly you and then like myself and then my one other friend and now another person. So
Wow.
but again with all of the people that you know, I guess it's not.
Yeah, counting like hundreds of people and how many people are in those hundreds are EDS. K-Ra. Oh, all right. So I'm Kira. Kira.
Yeah.
Kira?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so is EDS inherited or can it also be idiopathic?
I'm pretty sure it can be both because I think it's typically inherited, but it can also be like not. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it can be both.
Ankira said frequency also depends on subtype too. I did not know that. Good to know. Because some people will go through these symptoms and be just like, okay, well, I might not have it because it doesn't run in my family. But the good thing is, you could have not the good thing. I mean, no one wants these things. But the good thing is don't walk through life thinking you're never going to get a diagnosis for something and you could go and find the diagnosis. You know what I mean? It's highly heritable, but the genetic pathways markers aren't well understood yet. Yeah. Apparently it has to do with some gene that is malformed, and it's very interesting because I saw this little charts that showed two carriers of it that it was never like came to be, like they were just carriers, and then it showed their children underneath, and like the one all the way on the left was completely normal, and then the one that was like in the middle was a carrier for it, and then one on the right was an EDS, someone who had EDS that just developed it. So it was almost like 1 in 3, if you're a carrier, you can pass it on to like 1 out of 3 of your children.
My 11th grade biology is just coming back to me.
11th grade biology, yes. Okay, so this one's a little, but does EDS shorten life expectancy?
I don't know this for sure, but I think like inherently it doesn't itself, but it can like cause a bunch of things that could.
Right.
At least like that I've heard, because of all the things it can cause, so like heart problems and other stuff like that. Mia, stop biting. Stop it. Stop. Stop biting.
Apparently the vascular form of EDS, like
yeah, like the cardiovascular one definitely would probably be not very nice on you.
Right. It just, I guess you have a bigger chance of having a heart attack. So if you suspect you have the vascular type, you really need to get that checked. Okay, so what is the diagnosis process like? What tests are performed?
I think it depends on which one, but for mine, there's all like the flexibility test, so like that thumb thing. I can't show you because Mia's on my lap.
Oh, no worries. I don't want you to like pop it out either. Please don't.
It's fine. And then so it's like, there's a couple different like flexibility tests, and then it's like a certain amount of points for each one. It's like, so if you can do the thumb thing on both, then it's like 1 point for each side, and then
and it's a point system, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's one with like your elbows, if it's like a 10-degree angle or something, and then like your knees, or if you can like reach all the way down and place your palms flat on the floor without bending your knees. And then like after that, like if you get like however many out of the 9 points, you kind of go on to the next section. So it's just like a big like checklist.
Okay.
And I don't know about the other tests, but as far as I know, that checklist, it might just be it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few. So there's that thumb thing that I was showing you, where like if you pull your thumb down to your wrist. Oh wait, you can't see what I'm doing. Oh well. Anyway, so if you pull your thumb down to your wrist, if your pinky goes, you have to like lay your hand flat.
And then you can, yeah.
And if you can push your pinky past 90 degrees, that's another one. I'm trying to remember what some of the other ones are, but the elasticity thing. So like if you can pull your skin a certain amount, it's very interesting. Some very interesting tests. So Ankira said, I got the full genetic testing workup and it didn't show anything, but my rheumatologist and geneticist diagnosed me based on symptoms. Yeah. So just because it's not in like your genes. In Europe, a new study started and it's for the joints, muscular and skeletal. Interesting. I think I'm a case. Thumbs, pinkies, elbows, knees, and palms on the floor. Yeah, and that's another one. So, like, if you're standing upright, whatever your stance is, with, like, where your thigh lines up with, what is it, the front of your ankle or, like, your calf or something?
I think it's just a certain...
It's a degree.
Yeah, a certain degree. I mean, and, like, if you can hyperextend your knees.
Right. So it's all about like hyperextension, basically.
It's very interesting.
Oh, this was a question I wanted to ask because I didn't look into this question, by the way, because I didn't want to know the answer until you told me. But what does the zebra like mean for EDS? Like, why a zebra?
I don't actually know.
Oh no! The one question I didn't look up.
We can figure it out together.
Okay, let's figure it out. I'm gonna look it up. What is the zebra?
They might have it on their website.
What does the zebra symbolize for EDS? Oh, Ankira knows, okay?
Oh.
So let's wait for her to say it.
Mia, I hope you're not being naughty over there.
Oh, I'm excited to know. I'm excited. Yeah, it was really funny because when I was going through so a couple years ago, actually, it's really hysterical. I went to a rheumatologist, and this specific rheumatologist had no idea what EDS even was. And they were like, yeah, I don't know if I believe in that thing. And yeah. And so they were testing me for rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and some other things. And I was like, but that doesn't explain why I can't literally lift my leg. Like, you can lift your leg. It was literally impossible. It was almost like it was paralyzed. Like, I'm looking at my leg, and I'm seeing it, and I feel the pain in my joint, but I cannot lift my leg. Like, that's fibromyalgia, folks, I guess. I don't know. But, oh my gosh, look at Mia. How cute. So we're going to go to the next question until we find out what it symbolizes. Oh, so doctors are trained a certain way in how they consider patients. So if it sounds like a horse, they treat it like a horse. But sometimes you got something that seems horse-like but isn't, aka rare, unlikely. So a zebra. That's amazing. And that makes a lot of sense. Exactly what I was just talking about. Like, I was just saying how I had a doctor that didn't believe that EDS even existed. So it's pretty interesting. Oh my god, I totally closed out the music. Oops. Let me get that back. Background music. We'll go to Relax Cafe this time. Okay. Ooh, that's a little loud. Okay, so the next question is, by your definition, what is EDS? What is EDS, and what does it mean to you, personally?
I'd say it's just a disability that me and others have.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
But like, all you can do is really manage it and try to take care of yourself as best as you can.
Medical invalidation is so real. Totally. It really is. It's really annoying. Okay, so yeah, I would totally agree with you. I feel like that's how it is with everything. It's just, and it's really cool because in these certain situations, it's as bad as it is, you create communities around it, and I really like that. What are some risks with EDS? Illnesses, chronic or otherwise? My Boston accent almost came out. That you or patients with EDS are at risk for. And yes, James, you may ask any question you would like.
I don't know risks other than like the symptoms, like chronic pain, I guess, might be, because I don't know if that's considered a symptom of it, but it is definitely there.
Right. All right, here's a good one. Do you experience dislocated joints? Any stories?
Yeah, like I think I'm pretty sure I said before, not like fully dislocated, because that would be very bad.
Yeah.
But I think my best story is the first time I went to the Mia, stop biting stuff.
Jeez, Mia. Jeez. I love her.
The first time I went to the chiropractor, she was feeling all of my ribs, like from my back, and she was like, almost all of these, like pretty much all of them are just like out of their socket. And when she put them all back, it was like suddenly I can breathe like a normal person.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Like just ever since then, I've just been labeled her favorite patient just because of how noisy I am.
That's scary.
Like she loves it, but
let me put you back in place. I love this.
I mean, I like it too. It feels very nice.
It feels good, right? It feels good to be able to breathe. Maybe. Maybe. Imagine. Not to be rude or anything, but is this a multi-day awareness streaming? And if so, is it for EDS or other diseases as well? It's for all. These streams are for all diseases. Like we're gonna cover mental illness, chronic illnesses, syndromes, conditions, diseases, illnesses. Yeah, all that stuff. Whatever you have, it's gonna be covered on Thursday streams. All covered. It's gonna be all covered. Okay, here's a good one. Are there any easy daily tasks abled people can do that are difficult or painful or simply cannot be done by yourself?
I think just because movement in general is sometimes really hard, almost any task might be a little hard. Like walking and breathing for me is breathing, not always. It just depends on how bad my ribs are.
Oh, dude.
But like walking is usually the hardest because like my hips and my knees will go out.
Wait. Can I ask you a question about that?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Okay, so your knees, they buckle? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
if they're in a lot of pain, then they might, yeah.
Okay. My knees buckle every day. So I just want to know. Yeah, autism. Yeah. We can cover autism too, yeah. All right. So like what about washing your hair? Do you ever find it hard to like just lift your arms and get that done?
Not usually. Sometimes my shoulder is not very nice, but
right.
But other than that, it's not too bad.
I have to go to my training. It's about to begin. Boxing. Bye. Have a good stream. Thank you, PJ, for coming in. Enjoy your boxing. Enjoy your training. Oh my friend God, yes, the knee buckling, ankle rolling is so real. I feel you. Shaving for me gets very exhausting. I know that's kind of TMI or anything, but shaving my legs, literally, if I decide I want to go in the shower, which is not every day, by the way, because I simply do not have the energy to some days, I need to lay down after I've been in the shower. Like, I need to lay down. So I just was wondering if there are some like just day, like showering, like, and feeding yourself and cooking and standing at a pot stirring something. I don't know. Just they're just very difficult.
I have like this tall stool that I often forget's in the kitchen. But I'll like bring that in if I'm cooking something, so I can just like sit there. And we have like just like a step stool. I'm like, that's my stool.
That's mine.
Because I'm like, if I'm like cooking something, I'll just like sit down, or if I'm like eating in the kitchen, I'll sit on the stool. I'm like, it's my stool.
Yeah, no touchy. Okay, that's mine. Okay, do you have any mobility aids or aids in general? Examples are like braces, wraps, wheelchair, or a crutch, or a cane.
I use a lot of braces just like for extra support if they're like already hurt. Like right now I'm like using my wrist brace so I don't move it and irritate it any more than it already has been. Because like if I've been cracking it a lot, then yeah, it'll the ligaments will get irritated. So I'm like, don't move it, don't touch it.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of getting like a foldable cane almost, because sometimes walking's too hard. And I'm like, that might actually be good.
Yeah. Even one of those, like, I saw this one the other day, super cool looking. It's a cane that you can use as a cane. And then if you want to sit, it has one pole, but it has like a bike seat that comes out, almost like a biker seat. And you sit
Oh,
on it.
interesting.
And like you can take it with you anywhere. And this girl was like, yeah, I take it with me to like concerts and all this stuff. So if I need to sit, I can. And you're not so far away that you're constantly like looking up at people trying to like converse with them. It was a very interesting tool. So yeah, if you're looking into a cane, definitely like get one that you love for sure. uh let's see, where are we? um okay, so what is the weirdest experience you've ever had?
Um, Either the first time I saw my chiropractor, like that story, or even when the doctor told me I had hypermobility, because he didn't even like, oh, you, it's just the way he told me. I'm just like, hey, why is my shoulder like, and so at first my shoulder was just starting to make a lot of noise and like cracking, and I was like, shoulders are not supposed to do this. They're not supposed to make noise or, crack or anything like that. They're not supposed to do that. Not supposed to click. So I thought something was
Right.
wrong, and then every time they did like an ultrasound, they did an X-ray. Everything was fine, and then after we went back, I was like, yeah, everything was fine, but it still like kind of hurts and is making a lot of noise. And he's like, you have hypermobility, right? And I was like, no.
What? Like
So
floored you, huh?
like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I know?
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so the next question is, do you have POTS or dysautonomia?
I'm gonna say no. At
Okay.
least not that I know of, but probably not.
So just to preface this, I do want to tell you what POTS and dysautonomia is. It's a blood and like blood pressure, heartbeat, blood disorder thing where say you're sitting or you're laying down and you stand up, the blood pretty much rushes to your feet and to the lower parts of your body, and you get very dizzy and your heart rate goes up but your blood pressure goes down. And there's a few risks with it. You like can faint, you can uh like literally like pass the fuck out, and you can you just need to sit down most of the time, and then often it gets to a point where you don't feel your feet anymore, so it's really hard to walk sometimes. We will touch on that. I'm trying to find someone who does have POTS to interview, so we'll get to that later. But I do want to let you know that POTS does come with this most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't, like Ashton does not have POTS, but it is very common to get POTS or dysautonomia with this. And as well as another one, which is gastroparesis, which is something I have. Gastroparesis is very common as well with EDS. So off that, would you say you have a lot of fatigue that accompanies this condition? Are you asleep a lot?
I don't think directly, but like as an indirect side effect, it can happen just because like from being, I don't know, like in too much pain to get a good sleep, maybe, or like just being exhausted from hurting or like overexerting yourself,
Yeah.
I would say.
And definitely when I think that another thing with the like the tiredness that's possible is because your muscles are working so hard, which is what I was explained to like when with my dystonia. Because my muscles work so hard, my body just gets so exhausted. And what happens with EDS is your muscles, like I was saying, is the thing that keeps the bones and stuff in place, because the joints are not strong enough and they're too elastic. um so yeah, so muscular things too, so they're working really hard, so you're probably really tired because of that as well. I meet most of the symptoms for POTS and they are not my fave. Oh yeah, yeah, same here, no worries, same here. um okay, so what are some good things you've experienced after being diagnosed or being in the EDS community, or what are some nice things? good stories?
I mean, being, here able to talk about it, I would say is pretty good.
Aw.
And also just being able to like find comfort in like the accessibility that I'm now like allowing myself to get.
Right.
Pretty good. Like realizing like I don't have to live poorly.
Right. Like you can live as fully even with this.
Subtitles broke.
Subtitles broke. Oh, duh. My bad. Oh no! Ashton, are you there? Oh no!
Oh, did I stop working?
Where's your video?
Oh, what the heck? Hold on.
You're fine. Take your time. I have to message my mom some information here really quick. I'm almost done. Sorry.
I see what happened. I have a really finicky USB connector.
Oh, I hate that.
Just because the USB is too short.
I'm just giving my mom my email address because she needs it for something. I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't tell me anything. But anyway, so yeah, so that's really good. I really enjoy the community aspects. Like that's definitely probably my favorite thing. That's so funny. My awkward subtitles. Okay, so what are some ways we can raise awareness for EDS?
I mean, I'd say like things like this obviously are pretty good, and just getting people to research it, to like talk about it, like any typical way of like awareness.
Right, right. I agree. So this is a bit of a little weird this is a weird question, and I don't know. I kind of stumbled upon this question randomly, and I was like, this is a really good question to ask anybody, whether this is like mental health, physical health, whatever. But it's basically, what do you think of the media? Like Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, so social media. Almost in a sense, romanticizing illnesses, chronic, mental, or otherwise.
I actually wrote it something pretty long for this one.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
Because like obviously we think awareness is great, and it is, so talking about it is fine, but pretending like it's cool or trendy or like anything other than what they are, which is
right.
a terrible disability, is just awful, and like it needs to be stopped. And
I
like
totally agree.
Like illnesses are debilitating, and people need to stop treating it like they're not. And like just people need to not.
Yeah. No, and I never really understood the whole like the raising awareness thing's wonderful. It's awesome. Like keep it up. But the whole oh yeah, like I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like when people create these posts online or whatever, and there's like a bunch of people in the comments that they're like, oh, well, when I was 5 years old, I could bring my pinky back past 90 degrees. This is me. I have this. Or like, I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like they almost like try to fake the illness to fit in. And it's not something to fit in with. I mean, if you have it, of course, you're welcome in the community and all that kind of stuff. But the reason that these communities are made are to cope and have people to lean on to get through these really trying times. And so when you kind of are disingenuous about it, it makes that support and that people making those fake, like, false claims that they have these things, it kind of makes it not, what am I trying to say? It makes it almost like not, you can't trust them, even if they did have it. You know what I mean? It's just, it becomes very muddled in a sense. So faking shit to fit in is severely frowned upon in my friend group, and we usually resort to either ignoring said person or shit talking them. Yeah. I mean, we should be nice. You don't want to shit talk too much, but yeah, I totally agree. It's totally wrong to fake those kinds of things. And the last thing, and we've been posting this link here, but any organizations other than maybe the link that I've been posting, that you would recommend we donate to or support, or if there's anything you want to say about the organization that we've been posting about.
I don't know if, hold on, let me actually click the link because I don't know which one this is. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the actual society. So that's the only one that I know about.
Yeah, that's the only one I could really find.
But like all of the info on it on the site is like really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like this, just the EDS Society is the best that I've heard of.
And also about the EDS Society is, even if you do not want to donate or anything, if you just look at like their subtypes, that the everything, like the they have a huge list of symptoms and things that are like flags for this, and just ways that you can figure out if you should go see a doctor for it. So definitely check out that website. Let's see, what's the last one? Okay, there are no more questions, but I would love for you to either discuss some things that I didn't touch on, or like if you want to discuss further on anything that we have talked about, or take questions from the chat if they have any. Anything you would like to keep on or tell us about.
I don't know if I have anything like significant to add, but like if there are any questions, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to put them in. They have really great information. They really do. They have some really great information. Okay. Hold on, sorry, my mom. Okay. So, with that being said, I think that we're going to end stream here. And I want to say thank you so much to Ashton for coming out and talking about this. I really appreciate it, and I'm so happy that we could like get this information out. And I just really appreciate you as a friend and as a EDS, carrier, I guess. I don't know what you would call that, but thank you so much for coming in. And if you guys want to give him a follow, he is so good.